In this week's Going Ike RAW, we're on the upper Susquehanna River fishing for big smallmouth. Before we get into the show, take a second, hit that subscribe button right below so you can stay up to tune on all the brand new Going Ike episodes. You know, I'm with the Fishing Travelers again, and this already has been a trip of a lifetime. Catching giant salmon in Pulaski, New York on the Salmon River. Catching stripers and bluefish, tug and sea bass at the mouth of the Connecticut River. But now it's time to head west, and guess where we're going? The upper Susquehanna. Probably one of the best rivers, smallmouth rivers, in all of the world.
All right, here we are, folks. Day 3, 1, 2, 3 of the mega marathon trip with my homies from across the big ocean. There they go. Hey. Okay.
You know, when we get to Pennsylvania, we're crossing the river itself before we meet Mike. And crossing that bridge, seeing their reaction and my reaction to seeing this river, it's pretty special.
And look at this, guys. Look to your right. Right now, look! Look to your right! That happens to be the Susquehanna River, and we're going to go out and catch giant smallmouth today. What do you think, guys? Big smallmouth? Giant.
Be full of power. What the?
Look at that. There you have it. Stay tuned. Big smallmouth coming up right here. Come on. Let's go. Brother. How you doing, Mike? There you go.
See you, man. We meet Mike and his guide buddy Andy at a diner in Pennsylvania. And diners are you know, historic things in the Northeast. They're places to get food, get breakfast, and they're meeting places. We meet Mike and Andy, and quick little talk about the game plan, and they sort of fill us in that, hey, this isn't the normal Susquehanna River. We're not gonna catch 200 fish today. It's tough. We're gonna be lucky if we get a couple. It's gonna be really lucky if we catch a big one. But we're still excited. These guys have never caught a smallmouth before, so we're jacked up.
Holy hell. Unbelievable. Look at this thing, y'all. Crazy.
The cool thing about these boats, dude, these aren't regular boats. These aren't full-size bass boats. These aren't high-powered saltwater rigs. These aren't kayaks. These are drift boats. These are jet boats. And these jet boats are really specialized boats that are perfect for navigating shallow rivers. On Mike's boat, it's actually a stick steer. He's got a jet drive on the back. And Andy's got this giant metal boat that's totally souped out with a jet drive. And you know, again, these are boats that are meant for these rivers. They're gonna navigate, they're gonna be able to avoid those rocks. They can run in water that's like literally like 6 or 8 inches deep. So these are the perfect boats for these conditions.
May I ask who's calling?
He knows who the fuck.
We start out fishing small swim baits, small little jigs, little tubes, things that are very typical of river smallmouth fishing. And you know, right away we get a few bites, but this is definitely not the Susquehanna that I know, the upper Susquehanna River that I know, where things are fast and furious. It's tough. And you know, we're getting a few bites here and there, but it's really not happening. You know, about 30, 40 minutes in, we decide to make a little run and we go to a different section of the river. We cross the river and we go back to the east bank of the river. And on this side, the water is a little bit deeper and there's a lot more big boulders in the river. And the great thing about boulders is they provide a break in the current. You know, even though there's not heavy current right now, there's still flow. And those giant rocks provide an ambush point. You know, as we start fishing, I'll be honest with you, we're still struggling. I'm sharing the boat with Shota, and I think between me and Shota, we only have a couple smallmouth, and we're, you know, an hour, maybe an hour and a half in. But then Mike Breeding makes a change, and he switches to a lure that is a lure that a lot of people fish, but he switches to this lure, fishing it in a very unique way. And Mike switches to a lure that's a soft minnow bait. A lot of guys call him a fluke style lure. And he's not Texas rigging it. He's not twitching it fast like you normally do, but he's nose hooking it. And he's fishing a technique known as the tumble rig. And literally all you're doing with this bait is you're casting it upstream and you're letting that minnow bait drift back natural with the current, and you're hardly moving your rod at all. And that soft minnow bait, it's not darting, it's not twitching, it's not erratic, it's just slowly tumbling down the river. It's drifting back in the current, real natural. And this bait does a great job of imitating a natural dying bait fish. A minnow, a shiner, a shad, does a great job of imitating one that's hurt or dying. Mike catches like 3 or 4 in a row. So right then and there, I put away what I'm doing. I put away the normal equipment and I pick one up. I tied on my rod. I just grabbed the first rod I have. It's braid to a floor leader. I put a little nose hook on and I put this minnow bait and I start fishing the tumble rig. Problem is, now it's like 20, 30 minutes in, Mike's still getting bites, but I can't get bit. And I'm looking around and I'm saying, what is he doing? What's Mike doing that I'm not doing? And I realize that Mike's fishing his on straight fluorocarbon. Not braid to a floor leader, but straight fluorocarbon. And it hits me that under these conditions, low current flow, tough fishing, clear water, that braid might be hurting me from the standpoint that the fish are seeing it, but more from the standpoint that braid wants to float. Braid has a lot of drag and pull to it. Straight fluorocarbon has a lot more natural drift, a more natural flow as it's gone down. So I stop what I'm doing, I peel off the braid, and I spool up real quick. It takes 5-10 minutes with straight fluorocarbon. I hook that little VMC little nose hook, hook it to my little minnow style bait. It's a Berkeley power bait minnow. And like my first cast, drifting downstream with this tumble rig, I hook up. Big one, 2.5, 2 3/4 pound smallmouth. I get it in the boat. And it literally at that moment was like somebody slapped me right in the face, and that puzzle all came together. Straight fluorocarbon, the tumble rig, how to fish it in the current. And from that first fish on that rig, for the next couple hours, it was insane. Fish after fish after fish, and Shota makes the change. And as soon as he changes, fish, fish, fish. And all of a sudden we went from the tough Susquehanna River where we could hardly catch a fish to we're beating on them now every other cast on this tumble rig. And we put the pieces of the puzzle together. And this is the Susquehanna that I know. This is why this part of the river is world class. Fish after fish after fish, smallmouth up to 4 pounds. Does it get any better than this? And for the fishing traveler guys, catching these fish for the first time, this is unbelievable.
Baby, come back. But I don't know. that bluegill that you said in Japan now?
Yeah.
Let's have a traffic jam. That's a good one, man.
This fishing is unbelievable. Now that we're dialed in, all of us are fishing the soft minnow bait, the fluke style lure on the tumble rig. The fish are just biting it. This is the deal today. I look around and Andy with the other travelers, their boat's only a couple 100 yards away. We're hooked up, Shota's hooked up. I look over there, they're hooked up. Multiple times we're catching 2, 3, 4 smallmouths in one drift. We're yelling at each other, we're high-fiving. Man, this is what it's all about. You know, we're tired, it's been an amazing day, and we've got about a 2-hour drive ahead of us home. You know, we're approaching the final stop, the last leg of this fishing traveler adventure. And for the last stop, guess where we're going? We're going home. We're headed back down to Philadelphia, and we're gonna hit the tidal Delaware River for a multi-species show. We're gonna let these guys experience a little bit of the river that I grew up. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Going Ike RAW. Man, if you like what you see, stop and hit that subscribe button right there. We have new episodes coming every week. Keep your eye out for the next one, fishing on the tidal Delaware River. See you later. For information on the product and gear used in the show, go to MikeIaconelli.com and follow me on my social feeds at Mike Iaconelli. And if you want to help grow the sport of fishing, get kids involved. Go to theikefoundation.org to figure out information on how you could help get involved in getting kids fishing.